I also want to welcome Comrade Mangal amongst us, and we are hoping that together we are going to share, whether you're on the other side, but we're going to share in matters of interest as it pertains to whatever that comes before us for debate in the House. Mr. President, I want to say that young persons, I share their interest, I share their concern, and anything that would come into this House to support and to help them in growing and developing themselves to be accountable citizens in St. Lucia, I would support. And so I give my support to the bill or to the motion. I first want to say that whilst we speak about young persons, the youth, there are lots of things that we need to consider as we make preparation for them with this project. Our young persons have been severely hampered in St. Lucia, I must say. In the last year and the 4 months, with all the dismissals at from the various projects on island, all the various work environments that were created by the last administration, we saw that young persons in particular who spearheaded these projects were dismissed, and so they were placed on the breadline. And of course, we know that unemployment and whatever activities that they get themselves involved in go hand in hand. If you are unemployed and you are frustrated, you need money, you need to eat, you are going to do things that would lead to you getting your food and you getting your 10 cents or your 5 cents placed in your pocket. You see, if the programs that were there before were left in place and were monitored, I think that these young persons or the incidences of crime would have been lower in our country. I'm convinced of that. But idle minds are the devil's workshop. And if you have a mind that is idle, with nothing serious to contemplate, to think about, therefore it is necessary that the first thing that comes to your mind, that you would tend to go into it. Okay, you pass, you realize this man has his sack of potatoes. You decide, you know what, I need a few potatoes. I don't have money, but the only thing I can do at the moment is to try to get myself a few. And I'm going to help myself to a few and suffer the consequences. Or if it comes for me to retaliate at the end, I will retaliate, and whatever happens, let me face the consequences. Mr. President, in saying this, I want to first look at the tools, if you want to put it like this, that our young persons are going to be utilizing in some instances within this project. I'm sure that they are going to be utilizing the plain areas, and of late we've realized that even this morning on radio you had, and television, you had this whole cry about the conditions of our playing areas. And these are the areas that I think would be used by our young persons if they are engaged in the program. If they are placed in the program, playing areas would be part of the equipment for for the program. And so I am hoping that these areas would be taken care of, put them in a pristine condition for our young persons to be able to utilize, and then to create and demonstrate what they have so that persons can see, and if possible, that coaches, scouts from outside of our little island would see them, visualize, see them, and who knows, take them off, allow them to continue their trade in another territory. Young persons are special. They are special. And what is being done here is a good thing, providing that it is done in the right way. There is always the right way of doing things. We just don't come together, we plan, and then when it comes for execution, it goes wrong. We miss something very important. An important point is missed, and so we have our young persons again right there with this program, feeling misused, feeling that, what is prepared for them is not exactly what they were looking for or forward to, and so they stray away. Young persons, we know they are very, very, very sensitive, and so in preparing for them, I want us to be sure that whatever that we are laying there would be able to attract our young persons. We want the programs, we want the activities, whatever that is going to be placed in this program, within the program, would be able to create this awareness, to encourage young persons to come into the program and then develop and produce well enough that our persons would, at the end, be able to cheer about it. Crime and the young persons seem to be of tremendous concern to St. Lucia. And we are fortunate, we have with us our Minister of Security, and I'm sure his head is not at peace. Every day he has to think, every day he has to meditate and come up with the possible solutions for our young persons. And so I want us to understand very clearly that this program must be well thought of, it must be well planned, and when it is in motion, that persons are not isolated from it and others taken, but it will be open for everybody within the constituency, within the area, within the where it is going to be launched, and then allow everyone possible to be brought into this program, and of course, whatever that has to be done will be done. So we do not want anything where persons will be maxed out, and you will say to this person, you know what, you are too involved, you are too much of a hardcore person, stay out and let this person come in and whatever. But we open it to everyone and allow everybody to have a fair and a free role to accept. It is important that someone said it earlier, that the persons would be literally coordinating the program. The coordinators of the program would be persons that the young people that are targeted will feel comfortable being around. Right? They have to feel comfortable with these persons. You see, if you are undergoing a problem, there's a problem that you figure out you have a problem, you will not easily open up to someone you don't feel confident, you don't feel all right with, to speak about it and then to get the possible solutions to your problem. You understand? So we need to allow these young persons to get around persons that I'm not going to say they are confident about, but persons that they feel okay, they feel open, they feel comfortable in sharing their experiences, and then to receive the possible solutions to their experiences and then put it into practice, put the practical terms into use, so that they at the end would be able to change. Because I would love to see the day where St. Lucia, walking in St. Lucia, that everybody would be singing from one tune. This one would say, I'm comfortable, I'm all right with it, I can live with that, I can stay a little for a bit. But we have to find persons who are experienced, persons who are devoted, persons who are concerned about what affects young persons in St. Lucia. Not anybody and everybody. You know, not because I'm walking the streets, you know, tell me, okay, I want you to head this program. And then in heading the program, the turnout is zero because persons have no confidence in you, persons are not, you know, they don't feel comfortable around you. We need to find persons where these young persons would befriend and understand and learn from them and take from them and then follow up. I also want to say that the stakeholders must come in strong. The stakeholders must come in and play the necessary role that they have to play. As Senator Mauricio said early on, we need the stakeholders, everybody who is involved, to be involved and be involved seriously. We do not want government and then we have important persons like maybe the private sector, they are shaded off. We want everybody to be involved, and everyone, when you get on board, they would put their hands in strongly, do whatever they have to do to make sure that this program succeeds. The program must succeed. We cannot allow this program to be implemented at $9 million and fail. We cannot allow that. We need the program to succeed, and therefore I'm hoping that careful consideration was taken in identifying, if it has been done, in identifying key persons, key stakeholders, and involve them seriously for this program to succeed. Okay? Our country at the end will benefit. The young persons at the end will benefit. Because I think if everybody put the best foot forward, if everyone sits, reason, look at the pros and cons, sit and bring up the possible solutions, and then share it with those involved, I think it will succeed. I also want to say that the whole aspect of the Youth Empowerment Project, the aim is to empower young persons, give young persons an opportunity to shine, give them an opportunity to be in the spotlight. And one of the things that I've realized that we do not do, and that is to really get proper, adequate role models. We talk about Darren Sammy. Yes, we have Darren Sammy. But how much do we use him? How often do we use him? You know? How often do we go to him, speak with him, organize, and then tell him, you know what? Okay, you speak to these young persons about cricket, train them, and then let us see where it's going to go. You know, we have all the young persons with all their zest, with all their zeal, all their ambition. They come without our input. They come and they try. They try and they succeed. They continue along the path. They continue along the path. And for us in St. Lucia, they don't exist. We allow other countries to really open up and share these persons. And then only after, then we hear persons coming on the local level talking about, okay, here's Darren Sammy. He has been the captain of West Indies cricket team. He is the only captain to have won the Cricket World Cup and also the T20 and so on. And this gentleman needs to be put out there and let St. Lucians, let those persons who aspire sportingly, you know, who wants to have this sporting strength to say, you know what, okay, let me try Sammy. Okay, if I'm not playing cricket, I'm playing football, but let me use the same kind of courage that he had. Let me use the same kind of ambition that he had in my football game so that I could produce, you know. But these persons, we don't get them. You know, we don't get them. It's easily, you're placed on the side, allowed to go on their way, and so on. And once in a while, or when it hits us, then we decide, you know what? But we have some in there, let's use him. You know, we have Laverne Spencer, let's use her. You know, let's try to get her in a training session. Let us have her speak to these individuals, speak to these young persons, direct these young persons. Tell them that with patience, they can achieve. They can do this, they can do that. But you just have to be patient. Your time will come when you will be given the opportunity to shine. You know? And in saying this, we have this young 12 or 13-year-old who attends school in Jamaica. And I mean, nothing short of glorification could be spoken of her. She was able to work her way through, and here she won the gold medal at the Carifta Games. And this is a proper sporting model for St. Lucia. In the Commonwealth Games. This is a proper sporting model for St. Lucia. And these are the persons that whenever she's available, St. Lucia should be using to target other young persons her age group. To get them to understand that yes, there is hard work, but with the hard work, one day you will receive something good will come of it. And so I believe we have to begin targeting our young persons in St. Lucia, persons who have shone, persons who have done something remarkably well, to put them in the spotlight. You use these persons and you make other persons learn from them or copy from them. And when these things happen, when they begin to happen, when things like that begin on a small scale, small, it will, sooner or later, St. Lucia now would be this country where, or this little island where persons are just going to, you know what, let's follow her, and you will make it. We don't have to organize or have special key targeted programs. You know, we speak to each other. You speak to this young person, have this person speak to her or him, and then from there we can move on. You see? So it takes the beginning. Let us have the program. Yes. Let us have it well organized, well targeted, well instituted for the young persons, whether it is in Castle Central, it is being offloaded, whether it is in Dennery, wherever, but let us make sure when we put it out, it is done effectively it achieves its goal, then we can look back and say, you know what? Here's what we did. This is what we did. It worked. Let us continue it. Let us spiral it in Denry. Let us spiral it in Unstable. Let us spiral it in Bexon. Let us spiral it somewhere else where it is going to hope to achieve is the very same goal that it did in Cashew Central. So I'm very much excited. I'm very much thrilled with this youth empowerment project. I want us to understand that it is just about mouth. It's not about just coming and talk about it. Or we start it off and we leave it on its own. Make sure we have good follow-up activities. Make sure that there is an evaluation. There must be evaluation. At some point, if it is every 3 months, if it's every 4 months, every 6 months, we must come in and evaluate the project. See what it has achieved. See whether or not it's achieving its intended goal. Whatever we put it there for, make sure it is achieving that. And let us not just, we're doing this, we're trying it, so let it just run. And it runs off, it burns out, and nothing comes out of it. And then we have more problems on our hands. So I think that the program is a brilliant one. Anything for young persons in St. Lucia, I am for it. I am not young as I may look. I'm not young as I may look. But I participate. I want to be involved in everything that concerns young persons. So don't think me standing there in physical form that I am that young. Yeah? Don't think I am. I am just a very energetic person, love young things, youthful things, things that involves young persons, things that bring young persons to understand that they can play an instrumental role in the development of the country. And I, coming from the teaching profession, I will still be a teacher. Doesn't matter wherever I go, I'm still going to be a teacher. Sports person, very much involved in sports, and that is why I love the program, because it deals in the area that I think St. Lucia lacks the most. In sports, we have lots of sporting talent, but we just lack persons to tap onto it and make it work for us. And if we can get that, and if we can do that and we do it effectively, maybe my colleague next time will have maybe more time to relax, and not be running everywhere trying his best to sort out ways and means of getting persons off the streets, persons with characters that are not accepted in society, So we need to engage our young persons. And I do not want us to say that it is, it's just for a time, but let it be continuous, continually. Let us continually engage. If this one does not work to our satisfaction, let us immediately look for another one and put it in place. But make sure that we attend to our young persons in St. Lucia. We cannot allow our young persons to stay idle, to stay single-handedly thinking of what should I do. And my dear colleague Adrian was giving us a little situation that involved him in the lunchroom, and he was telling us that this young person at the school, he went there and he had to be calling on them by name. He called on this one by name and said certain things to him that had him to understand, yes, this is what I have to do. This is what I must do. This is how it is. This is how it goes. We have to fall in line in order for successes to occur. So on our own, we can begin doing it. We can do it on our own. But it is even more important when government is involved. When government is involved, it shows young persons that government is interested in you. Government wants to understand you, and government wants to work with you. And when that happens, we know for sure that young persons on the road can say, you know what? This is a government that seems to be serious about us. This is a government that really wants to look for us and after us, and then if we collaborate and if we work with them, then everything is going to be okay. So I want to give my full support for the borrowing. Just make sure that the borrowing is utilized to what it is borrowed for. You know, make sure it is used for what it is borrowed for. Don't borrow 10 cents and use 5 cents over there and then put 5 cents in it. Make sure the entire 10 cents is used there, and it is used, it is utilized. Whoever the managers are, whoever the coordinators are, whoever those persons involved in the distribution of the monies are, it is distributed appropriately, it is distributed correctly, and so then at the end of it all, then we can sit down and evaluate the value of our $9 million. So I want to give my full support for the borrowing, and I'm sure if this is rolled out effectively, that the young persons in St. Lucia would jump at it. They would jump and they would put the best foot forward to do what it is intended to do for them. And at the end, our country is going to be a better one. Our country is going to be safer. We can sit, we can relax, and then we know for sure that our young persons are not crime-driven, but rather they are ambition-driven to achieve whatever they have to achieve in life. Thank you, Mrs.